Good morning, afternoon, and or evening, fellow gamers. Today, I'll be reading the lore newsletters of each one of the Kraken Tavern companions. But before we get into the video, roll the intro. If you watched my videos before, you know that I'm terrible at segueing into the good part of the video from the intro. So, yeah, we're beginning with Barnabas. His newsletter says, the sloths are the most reclusive inhabitants of Skull Island, and to this day, few of them have ever left the jungles to make their way into the wider spiral. Barnabas is a rare exception. When a conquistador explorer found his way into Barnabas's village, the young sloth was mystified by the stranger. Overcome with curiosity, he followed the explorer back to the skyways, becoming his attendant. Before long, Barnabas had been conscripted into the Monquistan military. His size and strength were too great for the generals to pass up. Barnabas's gentle nature kept him from winning any distinctions as a soldier, but he got by as best as he could. During the Napoleonic Wars, Barnabas shipped out a campaign to destroy the Polarian colonies in Skull Island, but his ship was ravaged in a storm and crashed on a remote jungle island. Barnabas was lost for years on that island, and his old jungle-bred instincts served him well. His gentle nature and thick hide also led to something truly unprecedented. Barnabas befriended the local troggies and even managed to learn their language. A ship full of pirates finally came to the island, and Barnabas left the jungle behind for the open skyways. He rambled about Skull Island, joining pirate crews and a band of mercenaries. He earned quite a reputation as being strong and honorable, if not too bright. More than one crew of smugglers ended up double-crossing him, but his big-hearted nature didn't waver. Barnabas was kicked out of his last crew for rescuing a castaway from a remote island against his captain's wishes. The grizzled old sea dog was grateful and gave Barnabas something in return: the lost will of Captain Gunn. Could Barnabas finally strike it rich? He would need a crew. In layman's terms, Barnabas is nice sloth who live in jungle. Monkey go jungle. Barnabas become curious and become monkey friend. Barnabas then joins Monkey Army and was once strong, but sucked at combat cause he was nice. Then everyone is trying to kill each other, and Polarians go to live in Skull Island. Barnabas wants to fight Polarians, but Barnabas sucks at sailing and got stuck in a storm, and all his friends died, and he survived on an island making troggy friends. Random pirates appear and sail to the island Barnabas is on, and Barnabas becomes a famous pirate, but gets kicked off ship when he saved Doggo, but Doggo has Gun's will and gives Barnabas will, and he finds a crew to get Gun gold. Yeah, so this actually proves that the bug class is the canon class for the pirate, which is very unexpected, and that's all for Barnabas. And next we're going to talk about is Sarah Steele, and her newsletter says, raised in the wharf at Warrens of Scrimshaw, Sarah spent her youth with the gangs of pirates, criminals, and brigands that dominate that infamous isle. Swashbuckling, dueling, and pirating have always been second nature to her. As is common with the rats and mice of Scrimshaw, Sarah's past affiliation with crews of villains has had a way of blurring her moral compass from right and wrong. But some people just say that's pirating for ya. Her uncle helped her find a better way, and after cutting ties with her old friends, Sarah made her way to Skull Island, and was trained in the art of fencing by Morgan Lafitte herself. But Sarah Steele's escape from Scrimshaw came with a heavy price. The Scrimshaw bilge rats took her departure as betrayal, and their leader, Mick Dagger, has vowed revenge. The very name of Sarah Steele, the so-called Queen of the Underground in Scrimshaw, has turned into a curse for the bilge rats. Sadly, an unfortunate turn of events involving a golden spyglass led to a falling out between Sarah and her beloved uncle Nicodemus. Sarah was left without any safe place to call home. Sarah is on a quest to clear her name and needs the help of a good captain to steer her in the right direction. In layman's terms, Sarah Steele is a good swashbuckler and furry bait from the Bony Owl of Rats. She worked with very bad rat gangs, and her uncle got her to not be very bad, and then she began to learn skills from the other furry bait, being Morgan Lafitte. Sarah being good made all the rat pirates mad at her, and their goal now is to kill her. Sarah and Uncle have argument, and Uncle forces Sarah to get new home, so she leaves to find treasure and her to quest to make her name good. That's all for Sarah Steele, and now it's time to do the Otter Emmett, and here's what his newsletter says about him. Emmett volunteered for the Royal Navy as soon as the Napoleonic Wars began, as eager to serve his country as he was to get away from his humble beginning as a shipping clerk in Kent. Emmett served with distinction, rising through the ranks from a foremast hand to a full ensign in less than a year's time. Emmett served under many captains of distinction and was present at many decisive battles. He did his greatest service in the crew of the resplendent Marylebonian officer known as the Commodore, and regards to the old salt as a trusted mentor to this day. After the wars, Emmett found the thrill of combat and exploration way too much in his blood to allow for a peaceful retirement, so he remained in Skull Island, serving on an irregular crew harrying Monkeyston ships and looking for a good cause to fight for. When he heard rumors of a great pirate treasure in the offing, it sounded like a capital adventure, and so Emmett found himself in the cellar of the Kraken skulls, where he would meet a new captain to serve. In layman's terms, Emmett hears everyone's trying to kill each other. He joins the fight so he can't do boring job in unknown skyway. Emmett did good and become good at war, and served for a lot of people, and then made good friends with Old Doggo with hearing problems. He became very old and retired in Skull Island, shipping stuff with monkeys, having a midlife crisis, but he hears there's a chance for him to act young again, so he goes and does that. Ooh, Emmett foreshadows another Marylebonian skyway we'll probably never see, but I can't get into the specifics of that, since it's now time to move on to the crab I believe have the most lore, being Louis Lebesque. His newsletter says, originally born in Valencia under the name Luigi, the pirate later known as Louis Lebesque was the son of a poor but dedicated fisherman who moved to Polaris in a bid to become an exclusive supplier of caviar to Valencia. The venture ended in tragedy when a sky whale destroyed the fisherman's boat and left young Louis an orphan. Raised in Polaris, Louis' childhood left him with an adopted name, outrageous accent, and an undying obsession with harpoon guns. After the rise of Napoleon, Louis tried to return to Valencia, but was captured by a naval cordon at the Stormgate. Imprisoned for treason, Louis spent the Napoleonic War in a cell, but was finally freed after Polaris' defeat. Louis returned to Valencia at last, but found his accent and rude ways made him unwelcome, even among the crabs. Louis drifted to Skull Island, where his fabled nature and heavy firepower made it easy for him to find work on a pirate crew. Between voyages, Louis heard rumors of an expedition to recover a fabulous lost treasure. Intrigued, the crab went to the Kraken skulls for a meeting that would change his life forever. In layman's terms, Louis Lebesque is Luigi. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. His dad is Fisher, and here's that fish in Polaris. But Big Fish eventually killed him, making Luigi an orphan, and he gained a giant inheritance, a butler named Alfred, and changed his name to Bruce Wayne, becoming Batman. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Luigi got adopted and gained the name Louis Lebesque, a heavy accent, and become very obsessed with harpoon guns because he's a serial killer. But hey, everyone then tried to kill each other, and Lebesque tried to go to Valencia, but he got caught and thrown in jail until everyone didn't try to kill each other. He then successfully went to Valencia, but everyone gave him the boot since he was from Polaris, aka the greatest enemy of Valencia, and arrived to Skull Island and got obsessed with guns and treasure. Best Person, Mormo and Funny Speak newsletter says, the hereditary position of a spirit caller or tribal shaman is a crucial one to the Nui, and has been passed down from parent to child for countless turns of the seasons. Mormo's ancestors were the very first shaman of the water moles of Rapa Nui, long before Skull Island was colonized by the powers of the Spiral. Mormo's father was a great spirit caller of his people, who led the fight against the nefarious fire cult of the Wapani tribe. When he vanished, young Mormo was left in the care of the kindly tribal chief Omertu. Mormo was groomed to learn the way of the tribal shaman and become the new spirit caller, but he became obsessed with finding his father. He left Rapa Nui for many years on a quest that was ultimately fruitless. In that time, he learned magical secrets from many other witch doctors, and the traditions of his old people gave way for a loved adventure and by the shiny glitter of pirate gold. When whispers of a great lost treasure trove reached his ears, Mormo couldn't help but turn his back on his birthright to seek his fame and fortune in the skyways of the Spiral. In layman's terms, Mormo born into spirit caller of good moles to be bad moles. His father and ancestors super spoopy moles, but his father disappeared, so Mormo searched for him and learned from other witch doctors and become a great pirate, and he heard that he can show his power by finding Gun's gold. That's all for the lores for today, but before I end this video, I got a quick question. Is there anything about the Napoleonic Wars in Wizard 101? I never played past Krokotopia in Wizard, and I know Polaris is in Wizard, so if they mention it anywhere, could you comment it? Thanks if you informed me about it, but if you don't, still thank you for watching, and hopefully this video made you, the viewer, happy, and also roll the outro.